Welcome to another day, another sunny day. I've done lots and lots of lawn mowing. I've basically mowed the entire property, and as you can see I'm heading out, so I'm just going to grab my trusty strimmer. That was me picking it up. And I'm going to head down to our present wood store area, where I've got a little bit of work to do down there. We have plans that are pretty advanced in our minds, and we think we've sourced materials for another even bigger infrastructure project than the one I was talking about last time, which is the snake shed renovations. The snake shed's just in front of me now. But it's one of those things, in order to start work on that project, I've got a series of other smaller projects to do beforehand, and one of which is this little bit of clearing work down near the pond and moving the current wood store. I'll just quickly show you what I mean. Might put my hat on whilst I'm at it. I've made a start down here at the wood store area, essentially moving everything that we had been storing here, which is our pile of processed wood ready to go out to the house, our kindling, and our dry wood ready to be split to go out to the house. And I'm moving it down this side. So far I've moved the firewood for the house. I've stacked it on this pallet. It's not an entirely satisfactory solution, so I may revise that, but this is all temporary anyhow. And essentially what I'm trying to do is clear this fence line so that I can continue the process of taking down and dismantling this orchard, including all of the fence and the majority of the trees inside it, which are now unproductive. I'll probably keep this big apple tree. It's a crab apple. We don't get apples off it, but it's quite a pleasant tree, and it does fruit. It's one of the few trees in there that does flower and fruit. These have never fruited, although they do produce flowers sometimes. And this is all part of another, even bigger project that I won't go into just yet. So this is my preparatory work to do the next stage in order to do the stage after that. And then we'll be in a position to talk a bit more about what we're going to be doing down here. But it's a stinking hot day, there's lots of flies. It's not the most pleasant work, but I earmarked today, so today it is. There we have it. Will came and helped me. We moved all of the wood on our ready to process pile to our seasoning pile, which is basically a ready to process pile now anyway. So we have this very pleasing and ever expanding now pile of household firewood, which is great. The more we have in reserve, the more we have up our sleeves, the happier I am. Takes the pressure off. Then we've got the bag where I put the sawdust when I'm chainsawing, household firewood, bit of space for expansion. This is where I store household firewood if I'm not quite ready to process it yet. Then we've got the second kindling in this crate, which came out of the snake shed. And then we've got this first kindling on the pallet, which we more or less dragged from its previous location down the hill to here. Meaning all of the wood is now temporarily, at least, in one place. And if I spin around, this side of the orchard fence is now nice and clear and ready for me to start doing the jobs I need to do here, like taking down the fence and then mowing this lawn back. One thing at a time though. This isn't something I'll be doing anytime too soon. I'm still working on Operation Perimeter and other bits and pieces, so this isn't a top priority, but it is something I'll be moving forward with in the near future, and obviously I'll bring you along for the journey as I start this mystery project that you probably can guess what it is, but anyway. Now I have to go and sharpen the chainsaw, and there was one other thing today I might show you, but we'll see how I feel. It's a bit of a rainier day today, which is what I've been waiting for. As you can see, the doughnut bed could do with a bit of a weed. The weeds have gone absolutely mental. I'm not sure if this is just stuff that's blown in or where I've disturbed the soil. So I was digging it over. I've actually been waiting for it to rain so I could get on and do this, because we've actually had a spate of quite dry weather and the ground's been pretty hard. But the shell's just gone through. My plants, in case you didn't know, are the ones in the stick cages. That protects them from the wallabies, and everything else is a weed. This is a combination of plants I grew from seed and a few plants that I've bought in. Not everything's made it. There's some here that's been munched. And the little fuchsia down there, that basically arrived dead. However, I've got my first plant in flower. This is a hydrangea. I grew this from a cutting from a hydrangea in a friend's garden. And I've got another one over here which is coming into flower. I grew this one from seed. But I've got all of this stuff to deal with. Peter's going to help me. I'll maybe talk a little bit more about this another time, but it gives me also the opportunity to try out one of my Christmas presents, which are these excellent waterproof trousers that Will gave me at my request. Because I work outside all year round in all weathers, and the ones I had before were not effective, I'd get down whether I was wearing them or not, because they were so sweaty. I may as well have not been wearing them, but hopefully these Berghaus ones will do a better job. So now I'm going to be able to put them to the test for the first time. I don't know if I'll read all of this today, but I'll have a shot at least half of it. It's now a couple of days later. I'm back at the doughnut bed. You can see the progress I've made. I've managed to do half of it. Gosh, it's slow going, but hopefully I can get at least the next quadrant done, but maybe even the whole next half. So I'm going to be doing that presently. Just actually whilst I'm over here, I wanted to show you this lemon. You might remember that something munched all the leaves off, and it appeared as if it had died, but maybe if I poke you over the top of the fence, you can see that it's starting to spring quite nicely back into life. Obviously this has set it back quite a lot. It had flowers on it, but maybe if it can survive again, things are looking up. finished at last. I think that pretty much sped by for you, but for me that was 2 hours. And altogether 4 hours to do this. Anyway, it's looking much better. Hopefully I can keep on top of it. I knew this would happen. I knew that the grass would sort of start coming back, but hopefully the more I do this, the less that'll happen. A lot of the roots came out with all of this material. And I knew that disturbing the soil would disturb the weed seeds, which lay dormant, suppressed by the grass, as well as the things that blow in. So hopefully as time goes by and the plants get bigger and blah blah blah, this will become less and less onerous, as it is for the main garden bed over there, which does also need a bit of weeding, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to have some lunch and put my feet up for a bit. I'm very pleased with that. Starting to look lovely. It's been a busy old day, but as I alluded to earlier in this film, I got a couple of excellent garden-related clothing Christmas presents, one of which you saw was my Berghaus over trousers, and I also received another pair of trousers. The over trousers were from Will, and my other trousers were from my parents. And so as part of what I like to do here is try out new things and maybe feedback to you if they're of potential interest to you. My thoughts, I've now had both of these items for sufficiently long enough, and I've used them enough times to have pretty reasonable opinions of them. So what I thought I'd do now is just quickly share with you what I think about my two new Christmas acquisitions. The first thing are my gardening trousers from Genus. These are from my parents. As you can see, what I'm showing you here is they've got lots of pockets. They've got this excellent side vent with mesh. Lots of zip pockets here for keeping things secure. They've got a reinforced pocket on the side for things like secateurs. These are their lightweight gardening trousers, and that's exactly what I've been looking for. Because of the insects and wildlife here in summer, I don't always want to wear shorts, but I find trousers can be pretty sweaty. So I saw these and I thought, oh, I wonder, and they are excellent. I've never gotten overly hot in them, and I've worn them on some very, very plus 30 days. And they've got this other feature at the bottom where you can popper the bottom up to make it tighter. I've not done that, but that's probably quite a handy feature. And for those who are interested, this is the details, if you think you're about my size. My overtrousers Will got me from Berg House, and they are partly made of Gore-Tex, which is the waterproof part of them. You can see they come in a very, very small package, very, very easy to pack up. I took them recently on a trip which is coming up, so I'll show you those again then. They fold out really easily, and then they go on over trousers really easily. I wanted over trousers because I didn't necessarily want to only be able to wear them in winter. And they've got these zips which go from basically the hip all the way down to the ankle, so you can open them up really wide to get them over your boots, and again you can pop her up the bottom to make it nice and tight. And as you can see, they fit very nicely over my jeans gardening trousers. You'll have seen me wearing these earlier in the video, and they are excellent. I have not got sweaty in them, and they are totally waterproof. And for those of you who think you're about my size, here's the details of those.